Show on Sirius XM, channel 127, Thursday, November 19th. We are just 47 days away from the most important Senate elections of our life. We are 62 days away from Donald Trump being evicted, and I hope physically thrown into the street on January 20th. But the story right now is something I've been talking about for days. And I've got to be honest. People email me. People tweeted to me. I was over the top. I was overblown. There's no such thing as a coup going on. And I told them the same thing. I want to be wrong. And I would rather later you criticize me and say, Dean, you were way over the top and there was no electoral coup by Donald Trump. But now all of a sudden today, everyone is starting to see exactly what I've been trying to warn us about. We're all here. It's not too late. We can change things. And what I'm talking about very clearly is that Donald Trump is not trying to undermine Joe Biden's presidency. He's not trying to position himself for 2024. Donald Trump is trying to overthrow this election, period, full stop. This is an electoral coup. There is no basis. There's no legal basis to do this. It's political. It's political hardball, but it's a coup. Let's be clear about what it is. And I think it's so vitally important that, and I'll give away the top line now and we'll get to it at the end again. The media and Democrats get the media, Democrats, and the media officials have to be on TV saying this is an electoral coup, and also make it clear that all of Trump's co-conspirators involved in this coup are going to potentially face criminal charges. And I'll go through what those crimes are to make it clear they have something to lose. Because right now, Republican officials are like, well, I have no downside to helping Donald Trump. If he doesn't win, no big deal. And if he wins, then I'm in his good graces. No, you're going to go to jail. That's the message that has to go out. They have something to lose because they do. So today you had Rudy Giuliani have a farce of a press conference, but let's not lose sight of the serious points he made. He laid out very clearly, and so did other lawyers there, Sidney Powell and others, their goal is to overturn this election and put Donald Trump as president for the next 4 years or for the rest of his life, to be blunt, because I think he'll stay for much more than 4 years if he's there. There's no doubt he said it. In fact, in the amended complaint they filed yesterday in Pennsylvania, Rudy Giuliani said point blank, ultimately the plaintiffs seek the remedy of Trump being declared the winner of the legal votes cast in Pennsylvania and thus the recipient of the Pennsylvania electors. In a lawsuit filed 2 days ago in Nevada by Donald Trump, they wrote right there, their goal is to overturn the election results in Nevada and have Donald Trump get all the electoral votes. Now, they might claim fraud as the basis, but there's no showing of fraud. At the press conference today, Jenna Ellis, the lawyer for Trump team, and Rudy were asked about evidence of fraud because they keep talking about fraud. We're 2.5 weeks from the election, and they got all defensive. Oh, we're going to show it in court. The reality is they don't have it. In fact, in the Nevada lawsuit I just mentioned from 2 days ago, in their actual complaint, they literally wrote about fraud, and I want to read about it. Evidence of various forms of fraud will be presented in the future. They don't even have it. They literally don't. This is not legal. This is not about having a court overturn it. It's not that. Don't lose sight of what's going on here. This electoral coup is involving the 12th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. This is not really trying to get Republican legislators, members of legislators, to overturn the election that way and say, hey, I know Joe Biden won Michigan, but we're going to appoint a full Trump elector slate. They might contemplate that, but in most of the states I've looked at, of the key 5 battleground states, they're not going to have that power. What they're trying to do, and this is the real game, is to delay the certification of the results of these elections so that no electors can be appointed at all. And you might be going, well, what's the upside to that? Because in the 12th Amendment, it makes it very clear to our Constitution that you need 270 electoral votes, or the majority, but in this case, it's 270, to become president. And that day that they're going to have that actual validation of who has 270 is January 6th. That's by federal law. The 12th Amendment says you need 270. What happens if neither candidate gets it? Well, who picks it? The House of Representatives choose the next president. And you might be thinking, isn't that great? We control the House. Generally, yes, but not in this scenario. The 12th Amendment makes it very clear. Every state delegation gets one vote. So if the Republicans control more state delegations than Democrats, they will pick the next president. Here's the bad news. They control 26 state delegations. They will pick Donald Trump. So this whole thing is about delaying the certification. That's why in Michigan 2 days ago, the county board canvassers, the two Republican appointees in Wayne County, wanted to deny the certification. They got a bunch of pushback, certified it, and then late last night, said they want to rescind their certification. It's too late, but they wanted to rescind it, and Donald Trump had called one of them personally. What do you think Donald Trump told them? He asked that person, rescind it. Help us delay the certification. Tomorrow, we've learned Republican legislators from Michigan are flying. They've been summoned to the White House, just like in a third world country where a dictator summons minions to the White House. He summoned GOP legislators from Michigan to the White House. Will he broach the topic of, can you put a slate in of my electors instead of Joe Biden's, even though I lost the state by 150,000 votes? Yes. That really won't be his play. His play will be slow down the process, make it impossible to certify the election. And he'll go through all the fraud, the allegations, so that they can have some plausible deniability in their own brain that they're not traitors to this country, which they are if they do this. So even though you have the state Senate president who's a Republican, who said just 2 days ago, Joe Biden's the next president, and this guy's a Republican, and we're giving all the electoral votes are going to him, don't be surprised if tomorrow after meeting Donald Trump, they come out and go, we weren't aware of how much fraud there was in Michigan. So we really have to look at all of this. So the question is, how does Donald Trump prevent Joe Biden, who's got 306 electoral votes, from getting 270 by January 6th? Well, the reality is there are 5 key states we're dealing with right now. You've got Michigan, Pennsylvania, got Arizona, Georgia. Those are the 5 states. They need to stop just 2 states from certifying the votes. And they can stop 2 of them, then Joe Biden is right below 270. And the House of Representatives will pick the next president, which is Donald Trump. It's going to be challenging. I think they might be able to stop the certification of 1 of the 5, but I went through the law in the other 5 states. And the legislators in those states, in most of the places, really don't have the power to stop this. And I'll go through briefly. The best case, Georgia. You've got the Secretary of State who's a Republican who's really been transparent. They're just finishing hand count now, and Joe Biden's still going to win by over 12,000 votes. There's nothing that provides for overturning that result. He's going to certify it. I'm not really worried about Georgia. Second, Arizona. Well, it's a Republican state. It's a Democratic Secretary of State. But the Republican AG has said there's been no evidence of fraud whatsoever. And it really looks like that's going to be certified shortly. That's not going to be a problem either. So it comes down to 3 states left: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And Trump's got to get 2 states not to certify. Well, Michigan, we're seeing playing out right now. He's going full court press. He's got the legislators meeting tomorrow. The law, it's not as simple as them sitting around, Republican legislators, and going, we're not going to certify this. What happens is the next deadline is Monday, this Monday, where the state board of elections certifies the votes or not. Well, there's 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats on that board. The 2 Republicans have actually publicly said, we're getting so much pressure not to certify. They're getting tons of pressure. There'll probably be protests this weekend in Michigan because they don't believe in democracy, the Trump supporters. They're fascists. They believe in power at all costs. And when I say fascism, I mean it academically. Fascism is simply a means to acquire and hold power undemocratically. That's fascism. That's what we're seeing right here. So Michigan might be their best shot. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible there. Then you go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I'm reading right from the law there, the Wisconsin Election Commission said the state legislature plays no role in certifying or deciding which slate of electors goes to the Electoral College. And in fact, there's a Democratic governor there, just like in Michigan, which can appoint their own slate if games get played. That deadline for certification is December 1st. There is a partial recount going on. It'll end long before that. Unlikely. Pennsylvania, though, is their other big focus. Pennsylvania, though, Donald Trump is losing by over 80,000 votes. But you have this fight going on in Pennsylvania where they're calling on Republican elected officials who, as of now, just like in Michigan, are saying the right things. They're saying publicly, hey, we're not getting involved. It's not our job to get involved. In Pennsylvania, the Republicans there are saying we're not giving any merit to this. That's today. They're saying that. After Donald Trump and Republicans call them and browbeat them and threaten them and promise them incentives like, we will help you when you run for bigger office if you do the right thing, and just slow down, do whatever you can to stop the certification. Let us take care of the rest. They might not feel that bad. They might not be feeling like they're overturning the will of the people. They can say with a straight face, hey, we've got concerns about fraud. In fact, this should alarm people. 40 Republicans in their Pennsylvania state legislature signed a letter 2 days ago saying they're not going to certify the results unless there's an audit and a whole list of demands they have. 40 is not enough for a majority of the GOP, of the state legislature in Pennsylvania, but it's GOP controlled and it's not far from it. So Pennsylvania is their other best bet. When push comes to shove, I don't actually think they will achieve it. They're not going to achieve it in a courtroom. It's not going to happen. Will they pressure Republicans? And what do we do about it? What's the antidote? Well, you've got to call this out. We've found with Donald Trump in the past, when he's been called out in the media, and even some Republicans will probably join us, Lincoln Project or actually sitting Republicans, to say, this is outrageous, this is ridiculous, and more importantly, make it clear to the Republican officials in these states that what you're doing is a violation of the law. It's a violation, and I have Glenn Kirshner on today, former federal prosecutor. We'll go through more detail of the federal statute involved in depriving people of a constitutional right to vote. It's actually a felony. That's what we're looking at right here, and that's the way it has to be painted. Let these Republicans who want to be co-conspirators realize, not definitely, but potentially they could be charged with crimes. They don't win, they might be facing a felony. Their entire life as an elected official and as a normal person ends in that they go to jail for several years. That's what we're dealing with, my friends. This is not over. This is a coup. Let's call it a coup. An electoral coup, not a military coup, but call it an electoral coup. Let's call out Donald Trump for what he's doing. It's not undermining Joe Biden. It's not the idea for positioning for 2024. It's for one reason, to overturn this election and make himself King Trump. And we are the only thing that stands between that happening. It is up to us. This is the calling of this generation, once again, to step up and stop this. And I know there's tons of independents on our side and even some Republicans. This is the massive coalition we have to form. I don't even want to think about what happens if Donald Trump succeeds. The constitutional republic known as the United States of America is over. It will end. I'm not sure if there'll be a civil war or not. I'm not advocating that. I don't know what will happen, but it will be replaced. It won't be the government we know now. So we'll talk about this much more, and I hope you'll join me in the conversation today. Be a part of our family. Go to SiriusXM.com, free trials, check it out, get the free trial, then tune into my show. It's channel 127 Progress, 6 to 9 p.m. weeknights. Tune in and then call in. Be a part of the conversation. Join us. We're a family that is fighting for the good of this country. Be a part of us. Stay angry. Let's stay active.